Ahoy, Wildlings! It's me, Died Wolf 3! And as I'm sure you all know, coming out very soon, in fact, by the time this video gets posted, it'll probably already be out, is the new movie Jurassic World Rebirth. And if I'm being honest, I'm kind of interested to see how the movie goes. But I am still a bit puzzled, because a mere 3 years ago, they said Dominion was going to be the epic conclusion to the Jurassic era. And now here we are, already getting another one. But I hear they're actually adapting things from the novel, which I'm interested to read sometime, as I'm currently really interested in my books. But to prepare for Rebirth, I think it's fitting to rewatch all 6 Jurassic Park and World movies. And as well, I'm actually doing this for a Twitter marathon, since my friend Jumpy did a marathon on all my favourite movies. And I want to see how I could do with a movie marathon. So without further ado, let's dive in. To start off, we have the iconic Jurassic Park. I mean, this one's just legendary, right? For years and years, hell, even up until I first watched Terminator 2 for the first time, this was always my favourite movie, with Back to the Future being a close second. And even now it's still got a spot in my top 10. The cast is great with Sam Neill, Laura Dern and Richard Attenborough all doing splendid jobs. And of course, it paved the way with the absolute magic of seeing dinosaurs on screen. Some may say it's slow-paced since there's very little action for the first half, but the way I see it is the first hour is the park up and running with everything going well, because like the characters in the film, we believe at first glance this dinosaur park is otherworldly, and just the sight of dinosaurs is all we can think about. But slowly, we realise that what if something were to go wrong? What if Jonathan Big Chest turns the power off and the dinosaurs break loose? First sign of this is when the tour starts and none of the dinosaurs show up, which means that so far it's entirely up to random chance, and this park cannot afford to fail. But as the movie goes on, the problems go from a disappointing tour to life or death situations, and they get so bad in the end it becomes purely survival. Truthfully, I have zero complaints with this film. I love the characters, the action, and most of all, I love the dinosaurs, and they still hold up strong over 3 decades later. So this movie is an iconic masterpiece, and it gets itself a perfect 10 out of 10. And following up on that is The Lost World. And this one's not my favourite, to be honest. There's a saying I think applies for this film. Don't show someone the same trick twice, and that's what this film is. You can only pull off the magic of Jurassic Park once, and after that you need to switch things up. But this film didn't seem to realise that. Ian Malcolm, unfortunately, is really poor as a character. The comic relief role fits him like a glove, but taking the main role didn't work out too well here. Same for the rest of the characters, they're nowhere near as memorable as the first film. Now this film isn't completely bad though. I like the whole idea of there being a second island where they bred dinosaurs before taking them to Isla Nublar. And if the film was just about saving Julianne Moore and trying to get off the island again, it could have been quite fun, even if not iconic. But no, we have to go and save the dinosaurs from a corrupt team who want to bring them to the mainland. Did these guys not learn anything from last time? I swear, dumb kids. But I have to say, some of the action scenes, from the trailer being pushed over the cliff to the T-Rex rampaging through the city, are all really good. Especially the city action scene. And that's what I crave from movies like this. But The Lost World is a serious step down from the original, and it's one of my least favourites from the franchise, and so it gets a 6 out of 10. Third up is Jurassic Park 3, and call me crazy, but this one is really fun. Sam Neill returns as Alan Grant, and I think he suits the starring role way more than Goldblum. And what this film quickly realised is that the magic of seeing dinosaurs on the big screen couldn't carry the films anymore. So they stopped trying, and instead just made this a 90-minute non-stop action fest, and I really enjoy it. Although they're not super memorable, I quite like the characters in this film. And this is one of very few films where the kid character is one of my favourites. Unlike the last film, I find Isla Sorna's a really creepy place. While it is creepy in the second film, I've always been terrified of it because of this film. The Spinosaurus as well is a great new addition, and he's genuinely terrifying. I do understand the complaint that they just took the main dinosaur of the franchise and used it to make the new one look good so quickly. But in my opinion, it's fine. Because a new dinosaur like this is a great and fresh new threat, and you don't want the T-Rex to get old. And the raptors in this are my favourite of the franchise because they are creepy. And while the plot is a little basic, I'm not expecting a super extravagant plot from the third Jurassic Park film. So overall, while this may be a bit basic, it's a very fun film, and I honestly give it a 9 out of 10. And also a quick little side note, what is it with Michael Jeter and getting the most brutal deaths? In Green Mile, he was absolutely burnt to a crisp in the most horrific death scene I've ever witnessed. And in this, he's clawed in the back, left to suffer, and then gets his neck snapped. The dude cannot catch a break. But with that, we now leave behind the park and enter the world. Welcome to Jurassic World. Now, of course, this one's not going to top the original, but it's a brand new park, and I honestly really like how it looks. I would much rather go to this park than the one from the original, because this one looks designed to appeal to everyone, whereas the original park looked a bit boring, besides the dinosaurs. The characters are quite good, with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard leading, and although they are no Alan and Ellie, they are quite good. The story as well is quite good, and it's quite true to real life, because kids these days have the attention span of a hot dog, and not even dinosaurs excite them anymore. So they make a brand new hybrid dinosaur to get more sales. But then the dinosaur busts free, and they use every which thing to stop it. And while this film doesn't hold a candle to Jurassic Park, I like what it's going for. The Indominus was a fresh new idea this time round, and the action is quite fun. It isn't entirely hooking though, and can feel a tiny bit boring in some areas. So although it isn't perfect, I think it's a good reimagining of Jurassic Park in the modern age, and it gets a 7 out of 10. And now on to an interesting one. Here is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Plot of this one is an erupting volcano is going to wipe out Isla Nublar and kill off the last remaining dinosaurs, and so our returning Claire leads an expedition to go and save them. And I want to point out something that Mr. Eric Carter said, and I fully agree with. Jurassic Park is at its best when it's about surviving the dinosaurs, not when they are trying to save the dinosaurs and then survive them, and that couldn't be more truthful. But I have to say, this film is again a bit of a guilty pleasure. Sure, it's not exactly smart, but I think I'm a bit of a sucker for dumb, fun films. And it's one of only 3 films to ever make me cry alongside Toy Story 3 and The Bucket List. I quite like this intro at the start that feels almost horror-like. It makes me want to see a Jurassic film that's entirely horror. But the characters outside of Owen, Claire, and this dude aren't very good, as this annoying cop from Hot Fuzz is a really poor villain, and the whole cloning nonsense is stupid, and it gets even worse in Dominion. And there is one question I have. Why don't they just take the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar and put them on Isla Sorna? But one of the film's highlights for me is the relationship between Owen and Blue. I really loved their scenes together, and the final scene makes me a bit sad. And as well, I find the Indoraptor to be a bit of a boring animal, as it's literally just going back to what the Indominus was, but this time it poses nowhere near as much threat or excitement. But in the end, I kind of see this movie as a set-up film for Dominion, or whatever Dominion was supposed to be. As here, the dinosaurs escape and start raiding the mainland. So when this film is focusing on the fun action and the relationship between Owen and Blue, it's a very fun film, and I give it an 8 out of 10. And this leads us to the finale of the video, Jurassic World Dominion. Now, when I watched this film for the first time back in 2022, I was absolutely dumbfounded at how good it was. I was going around everywhere saying it was the greatest film I'd ever watched, and how anyone who didn't rate it 10 out of 10 was a dumb kid. But by the end of the year, my rating started drifting down, and for a while, I've had it at a 4 out of 10. Now, the first thing that troubles me is that this is a 2.5 hour film, when it could have just been the traditional 2 hours.
That's better.
And I really don't understand how they had the stories of dinosaurs in the real world right there in the palms of their hands and did nothing with it. The prologue literally teased that was the way it was going. And also, why did they cut the prologue? That was like the best part of the film. But another thing this movie did I hate is not only did it fumble the dinosaur plot, but it's not even really about dinosaurs at all. It's about locusts. Why is it about locusts? Because the audience is a bunch of dumb kids, and it doesn't deserve what they wanted. Like, all I really wanted was to see a film about dinosaurs invading cities and destroying things, and instead we got this. Now, I will say, though, there is some good action in this film. I did quite like this short little battle in the forest, because it does actually feel accurate to that of what a real dinosaur fight would be like, and this motorbike chase was such fun. But 2 good action scenes across a 2.5 hour film is crazy, and it's not good enough. And the amount of plot armor our characters have in this film is absolutely stupid. Like, they aren't even hiding it in this one. And lastly, I think we should speak about the villain. So the Jurassic Park 1 villains were the raptors, and they were honestly really good. They were built up well, and did a great job with their little screen time. The Lost World doesn't really have a main dinosaur villain, but Jurassic Park 3 has the Spinosaurus, and he's absolutely terrifying. Like, I've had nightmares about being trapped on Isla Sorna with him chasing me. Jurassic World has the Indominus, and that's quite good. The Indoraptor's decent, but very unoriginal. And then we finally have this guy, the Giganotosaurus, and he's not even a villain? Like, he's literally just a dinosaur doing dinosaur things. Like, we've seen the T-Rex do far worse than what this guy did. He didn't even kill anyone. All he did was kill the T-Rex in the prologue, which is literally what dinosaurs would do in situations like that. So I have no clue what the director was talking about when he said this thing was going to be the Joker of this movie. So yeah, this film's got some redeeming scenes, but not enough to give us a good movie. And for that, it's become the first bad film of the franchise, and it honestly gets lowered down to a 3 out of 10. And that was every Jurassic Park / World movie in preparation for Rebirth. I will say I am sort of interested to see what Rebirth's like. Unfortunately though, my hype isn't the same as it was when Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were coming out, but I'm hoping we can at least get a decent dinosaur film. But our old Eric Carter also said something about this, which I also agree with. This should have been a rated 15 or even rated 18 film, because that would allow the full emotion, the full gore, and the full intensity of the situation. And also because it means all the dumb kids wouldn't get to go to the cinemas. But seriously, I am quite interested for this, and I really hope it can meet my expectations, and even surpass them. Well, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you wildlings later. Bye.